The sun sank behind the hills of Canaan, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson. Below, the Jordan Valley gleamed like a jewel, its rivers winding through lush fields, promising wealth and ease. In the distance, the city of Sodom sparkled with life, its markets alive with voices, its walls a testament to prosperity. But beneath the surface, a shadow loomed. Lot stood on a ridge, his heart pounding. Beside him was his uncle Abraham, a man chosen by God, whose faith had guided them through deserts and dangers. Their herds had grown vast, their wealth abundant, but the land groaned under the weight of their success. Strife brewed between their herdsmen, and peace was unraveling. "Lot," Abraham said, his voice steady, "we are family. Let's not fight. The land is yours to choose. Go where you will." Genesis 13:8-9. It was a generous offer, a moment of trust. Abraham the elder stepped back, giving Lot the first pick. Lot's eyes drifted to the valley where Sodom beckoned. In that moment he stood at a crossroads, not just of land, but of destiny. Lot gazed at the Jordan Valley, its beauty breathtaking. Fields stretched endlessly, watered by rivers that shimmered in the sunlight. It was a paradise, a place where dreams could take root. It was like the garden of God, Lot thought, recalling tales of Eden's splendor. Genesis 13:10. But Sodom, the heart of this valley, hid a darker truth. Its people were steeped in sin, their lives a rebellion against God. Greed, pride, and immorality ruled their hearts, yet their wealth masked the decay. Genesis 13:13. Lot saw only opportunity. He imagined a grand home, his daughters married to influential men, and his name respected at the city's gates. The warnings in his heart, a faint whisper of caution, were drowned out by ambition. He made his choice. He pitched his tent near Sodom, close enough to taste its riches, close enough to feel its pull. Time passed, and Lot's tent became a house within Sodom's walls. He was no longer a visitor, but a citizen, his family woven into the city's fabric. He sat at the gates, a man of status, judging disputes and dining with the elite. But the city's darkness seeped into his soul. Sodom was a place of excess. Markets overflowed with goods, but the poor were ignored. Laughter filled the streets, but it masked cruelty. Lot's heart grew heavy as he witnessed the city's sins, yet he stayed. He told himself he could be a light, a voice of righteousness. But day by day, his silence grew louder than his faith. The companion of fools will suffer harm. Proverbs 13:20. His wife thrived in Sodom's luxury, her heart tethered to its pleasures. His daughters adopted its customs, their innocence fading. Lot's home was prosperous, but his spirit was starving. Trouble came swiftly. A coalition of eastern kings attacked Sodom, plundering its wealth and taking its people captive, including Lot and his family. Genesis 14:11-12. The city's glamour had not protected him. His choice had made him vulnerable. Abraham, ever faithful, heard of Lot's plight. With 318 men, he chased the captors under cover of night. Striking with courage born of love, he rescued Lot, his family, and all their goods, bringing them back to safety. Genesis 14:14-16. It was a second chance, a divine warning. Lot stood before Abraham, his possessions restored, his life spared. He could have left Sodom and returned to the path of faith, but the city's allure was too strong. He went back years later. Sodom's wickedness reached a breaking point. Its sins, pride, greed, and depravity rose like a stench to heaven. God declared, "The outcry against Sodom is great, their sin is grave." Genesis 18:20. Judgment was coming, but mercy preceded it. Abraham, standing before God, pleaded for the city. "If there are 50 righteous people, will you spare it?" he asked. Then 45, 40, 30, 20, 10. God agreed. For 10 righteous, he would withhold destruction. Genesis 18:24-32, but 10 could not be found. One evening, 2 strangers entered Sodom. Lot, seated at the city gate, recognized something holy in their presence. They were angels sent by God. Fearing for their safety in Sodom's dangerous streets, he urged them to come to his home. "Stay with me tonight," he said, preparing a meal and locking the door. Genesis 19:1-3. But Sodom's evil would not rest. A mob gathered young and old, demanding the strangers for vile purposes. Lot stepped outside, heart racing, and begged them to stop. "Don't do this wickedness," he cried. Genesis 19:5-7, the mob turned on him. "You're an outsider, yet you judge us," they roared, pressing closer. Genesis 19:9. The angels intervened, pulling Lot inside and blinding the attackers. Mercy had arrived, but time was running out. The angels spoke urgently. "Do you have anyone else here? Get them out, for God will destroy this city." Genesis 19:12-13. Lot ran to his sons-in-law, pleading, "Flee! The Lord is coming!" But they laughed, thinking him a fool. Genesis 19:14. At dawn, Lot hesitated, his heart torn by memories of Sodom's comforts. The angels seized his hand, dragging him, his wife, and 2 daughters out of the city. "Run to the mountains, don't look back," they commanded. Genesis 19:15-17. As they fled, the sky erupted. Fire and sulfur rained down, consuming Sodom and Gomorrah. The valley that once bloomed like Eden became a wasteland. Genesis 19:24. Lot's wife, unable to let go, glanced back. At that moment, her longing for Sodom turned her into a pillar of salt. Genesis 19:26. Lot and his daughters reached a cave in the mountains, far from the smoldering ruins. Fearful and isolated, the daughters believed the world had ended. In their desperation, they committed a grievous sin, getting their father drunk and bearing his children. From these acts came Moab and Ben-Ami, ancestors of nations that would clash with God's people. Genesis 19:30-38. Lot's life, once filled with promise, ended in shame. A man who chose paradise lost his family, his honor, and his legacy. Lot's story is a mirror for us all. He was not evil, he believed in God and sought to do right, but he drifted step by step toward compromise. He chose what looked good over what was godly. He lingered in sin, thinking he could resist its pull. He stayed silent when he should have spoken. "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Romans 12:2. Sodom exists today, not as a city, but as a mindset. It's in the allure of wealth, the pressure to fit in, and the temptation to trade faith for fleeting pleasures. Yet God's mercy remains. He rescued Lot, even when he faltered, and he offered redemption to us. The Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials. Peter 2:9. Lot's story asks us, where are we pitching our tents? Are we chasing the world's promises or God's? The choice is ours, and the consequences are eternal. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Mark 8:36. Run from Sodom. Cling to God. Your story is still being written.